During their meetings in Washington, Mr. Papian and Mr. Sefilian spoke out about the current situation in Armenia. And when we say Armenia, we mean Artsakh included. At this time, the National Democratic Alliance is doubling down on its lobbying efforts in the United States. Do you think the National Democratic Alliance, through its lobbying in Washington, will be able to draw U.S. attention towards Armenia? Taking into consideration that the National Democratic Alliance is currently not in power, and the political establishment of the United States mainly works with official Yerevan, do you think the National Democratic Alliance may nevertheless register achievements in its lobbying efforts?
Դա շատ կարևոր է։ Այնքան կարևոր բան է, դա ես չեմ կարող նկարագրել, որտեղ մինչև հիմա այստեղ
Lobbying is very important. Words can't describe how important it is. Until now, we Armenian Americans were trying to, well, there are two types of Armenian Americans. There are those who live in the US in an Armenian ghetto environment. They make purchases in an Armenian store, watch Armenian or Russian TV shows, and don't know much about American society, and for the most part are Russophiles. Then there are other Armenians from Armenia, Lebanon, etc., who came to the United States in the 70s or 80s and are integrated into American society. In other words, they live and work in American society. There are mixed marriages, etc. These are the Armenians who are standing in the front line and represent the Armenian Americans in the United States, and I am among those Armenians. I work day and night to make my American friends understand and convince them that we are different and are not part of the group of Russophile Armenians who the American establishment is familiar with. The visit of the National Democratic Alliance to the United States is very important because, for the first time in the past 30 years, an Armenian political organization is coming to the United States and stating that they understand U.S. values and interests, that they are a part of the same value system, and that they need U.S. help to pull away from Russian influence. They understand that it is necessary to seek help from the United States directly. Americans are straight shooters and they don't like those Oriental ways where yes means no and no may mean yes. They will shake your hand and look into your eyes to see if you are sincere. Therefore, it is very important for us to have direct contacts with the U.S. establishment, and we must work on enhancing those contacts. For this reason, I support all the actions of the National Democratic Alliance in its lobbying efforts, and I call on all patriotic Armenians, political prisoners, soldiers, war veterans, and their families to understand that their security is entirely dependent on Armenia's independence from Russian influence. Today, besides the followers of national liberation movements who are fighting for the sovereignty of Armenia, the rest are living in fear and with lies. This is why we need to support movements such as National Democratic Alliance. By the way, the National Democratic Alliance is currently holding a fundraiser to continue its lobbying in the United States since it does not have adequate resources to fund its lobbying efforts. We urge our fellow Armenians to participate in this fundraiser in order to help in this very important lobbying effort. For more information about the fundraiser, visit the National Democratic Alliance's website. Please continue, Mr. Sarkisyan. Yes, that is very important. And it is very important for us to find, among wealthy Armenians, those who understand the necessity of lobbying and will sponsor it. Unfortunately, the Armenian diaspora is not united, and one of the reasons is that we lack the ideology of what it means to be Armenian, around which we can gather our resources and concentrate our efforts. I think it is time for this to happen. For example, when the American Revolution took place, it was not just one person who made the revolution. There were 55 founding fathers. Who were those founding fathers? They were philosophers and military men. In other words, we Armenians need to find a group of philosophers among us in order for our ideology to be reborn and in order for them to make it clear what it means to be an Armenian. How are Armenians different from others? This ideology needs to be written down somewhere, and it must be written by philosophers. We have to find our own Thomas Jefferson, who must write our Declaration of Independence so that all us Armenians believe in that independence, freedom of speech, right to life and happiness, and we have to unite the Armenians of the diaspora around this ideology of Armenian identity anchored on independence.